Just Tetris, just time. In a minute, just keys through down my enemy. Lose 500. We do not stop rising. Have not, they're dead. What about me? You do not find good men right. Great watchtower. Have not, they're dead. Just time. In a minute. You do not find. What about? In a minute. What about? Things are now in mush. We do not know pain. You do not know. I'm gonna. Just Tetris. Just time. In a minute. Just keys through down my enemy. What about things are now in mush? We do not know pain. You do not know. I'm gonna. Just time. In a minute. You do not find. You do not know. What about? In a minute. Lose 500. We do not stop rising. What do you mean?
Here we go. There we are. We are going live. Oh wow! Look, hold on. Let me. I'm going to change the anvil cam here. Let's, if I can loosen that. There we go. Good. Good. And hold on, let's make it big. Alright. So if you're just tuning in, these are our students from early today, getting ready to quench their first sniping class. Get a good hold of it. Nice. Go straight in. Go, go, go. Now, if you see flames, push it lower. You want to deprive that of oxygen. There you go. Excellent. Excellent. Now, just lay it on the cooling. Yep. That's just more of that oxidation. That scale comes off, which is really nice. That's for you. All right, Aiden. Here you go. Your turn. Good. Straight in. Excellent. Cool. Good job, brother. Excellent. Just lay it on there. And so now I'm going to go ahead and put those in the tempering oven. And while I'm doing that and getting that set up, I want you guys, you can just lay that glove in the white box there. I'll take those. So I want you to mark and measure out. Essentially, it's right to the very end there. So okay. That's 7 inches.
Okay.
And this
all the way down?
You just need 2 pieces.
Okay.
So 1 for you and 1 for you. So let's go ahead and mark those, and you can just set those on the anvil for now. Yes, Andy, you are right. You have a kid that listens. He's doing very well today. And surprisingly, I've only mentioned one embarrassing story involving you. So... You have your safety glasses on, Aiden? There we go. Now we got the anvil cam back in place. Now, really quick. I saw what you did. Oh. There you go. A little simpler. I'm not criticizing you at all. It's just, but when you start learning that, man, there's some tools in the shop that can really make a job much more simple than I have beat my head against the wall over stupid crap that I've done. Going, why did I make that more difficult? Okay? A little more pressure. Pick up just a little higher. There you go. A little bit more. Excellent. Good job, Aiden. Just watch what end of that you pick up. It might be a little warm. And you can just set that back over here. All right, guys. So, the moment of truth. The fun part. Okay. Down to forging. No, it's all been work and boring stuff. Stupid science. There's the other pair of blade tongs. I'm going to start you guys out with some lighter hammers. That is nothing against you guys. It is literally because we like to start light and build up. You can do some actual damage to yourself if you start out with too heavy of a hammer. But if you go, it just doesn't seem like I'm accomplishing enough work and I feel comfortable with this, let's try something a little bit heavier, and you find what's comfortable for you. For instance, I use a 2.5 pound hammer for, I would say, 95% of my, what I do. And occasionally I have a 3.8 and a 4.3 pound hammer that I use. I've also got a 6 pound hammer that I don't use that often, but when I'm doing things like, say, tomahawks and stuff like that, it actually makes sense. So for these, we're going to start out with, essentially, these are 1,000-gram hammers. They are both the same weight, just slightly different configurations. Actually, you know what? This one might be 900 grams now that I think about it. What a ripoff. I mean, they gypped us 100 grams. Horrible. Not that big of a difference. But, so let's see your pieces. The biggest thing with these tongs, we've got a groove down the middle, and these tongs are specifically for this size of steel. So we're going to be able to hold on to them. A nice squeeze will keep that really firm in there. So I'm going to just set these in the forge for now. And I'm just going to show you a couple of techniques. Rob, you're a little on the taller side. I would suggest using this anvil. You're slightly taller than me. The general rule is that when you relax, your knuckles should just brush the top at a relaxed position, and that tells you how long, or the height of that anvil. So for me, I have this one set up, and you can see in a relaxed position, I'm just my middle knuckle is just touching. So. And really, if you try this and you're like, I'd rather bend over a little bit more, we can have two people working, one anvil. That's not a huge problem. It's going to end up happening here when Matt is getting ready to do his next billet. I'm going to turn the heat up as well. As if it's not hot enough in here already. Oh, that's odd. It's freezing up a little bit. My tank's freezing up a little bit. All right. So, what we're looking for is the color of the steel. You were mentioning that earlier. The color is so important to us because that's how we tell the temperature. And without that, you'd have to have some sort of, some sort of doodad, that would read that. And unfortunately, most of the laser thermometers that are out there, they're not accurate. They give you a very broad, reading on it. So we get used to looking for certain colors. And the one there on the right, I'm going to bring that over. And our first action is we want to draw this down to a point. So I'm going to come in at an angle. See how I'm not hammering very hard, but you'll notice that steel's getting wide at the tip as I do that. So I turn it flat. And in real time, it's more like right about at that color, that is too cold. So what you're going to hear me say an awful lot is heat it up, do it again. Heat it up, do it again. Now, just so you guys are starting off on equal playing fields, again, angle, That's about the same as the other one. That way you can't say, well, he had a head start, that's why he's... It's not a contest until somebody wins. Right. So, there we go. Looks like we have 2 people watching on Twitch. Probably both of your parents. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Wait. Yeah, it's up on YouTube, and you see there's people tuning in on YouTube every once in a while. Like that number went to 1 there.
You can go back and look at it. It up on YouTube.
This will be on YouTube forever, unless I delete it. So, forever and ever and ever, which means don't do anything embarrassing.
Yeah. Try not to.
Or do something embarrassing. I don't care. Actually, if you do something embarrassing, this thing will go viral. We'll make clips of it. There you go. So. All right. So just for now, why don't you grab it and use this anvil right here. Okay. No, they're both equal right now. Get a good hold on that. There you go. Squeeze tight. Lift up. Come at an angle. You don't want your tongs on the anvil. Okay, go ahead. Yep. Good. Turn it flat. Back up. Back. Good. Nice. Yeah, that's a good temperature to go back in. Well, there you go. See, you can actually read what that is saying right up there on the screen. Yeah. So, your turn. So you start getting used to that heat. Well, and working in kitchens for years as well. I mean, when you're just using a terry cloth, you know, to pull something out of the broiler. Good. Okay. Stop. Flip it all the way over.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
There you go. Keep it level. Excellent. Choke up on that hammer a little bit. Choke up on the hammer. Further. You're not a carpenter. There you go. It's about control. Good. Turn it flat. Keep those tongs off the anvil. Good. Now, pay attention to that color. That's where I would tell you to go ahead and put it back in, but get a feel for it. You're not going to hurt that steel. Make sure you're keeping this. So you want to make sure that that's always flat. That's good. Fine. Yeah. No. Good. So let's do another round of that. This is actually kind of nice because I can watch what you're doing in the camera without having to like bend over and look. Yeah. Turn it flat. Good. Cool. Now, I see one thing that's going on here, okay? See how you're getting that twist?
Yeah.
Now, I can take that out for you.
It's not level on them.
No, it's because of the way you're holding your wrist. So you're hitting over here, but your wrist is turning out that way. Okay? I like to keep we're older guys.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just going to say it as it is. But I turn my wrist pronated. Supinated causes a lot of strain on those tendons, and you're absorbing a lot of shock that way. So I keep my wrist pronated,
And then back.
and I just, 2 fingers really, my thumb and my index finger doing all the work, and I'm trying to keep it level. I don't want it pitched one way or the other, and I don't want it high, because anytime that it hits here and then goes down to the anvil, all that's doing is absorbing energy. So you're wasting a lot of that potential energy, and you're not accomplishing any work. So, and for you, you were doing the exact same thing. You were lifting up a little too high on that. So just be mindful of it. I don't expect you to get it first thing, out of the gate. It's a learned, it's really about muscle memory. So your piece is ready to go. Let's grab that. So so we're having a problem actually grabbing those. Where did I put? No. The duckbill tongs are nice for this. So what we can do is grab them and stage your piece. And don't put these really close. Yeah. Or, there, yeah. There's a bucket of ash there. So,
So it really only takes a couple minutes in the forge to get up to temp.
once it's been built up in temp,
Right.
keep those tongs off the face of the anvil. Keep it level. There you go. Good. Rotate. Back up. Hit it harder. Hit it like it owes you money. Heat it up. Do it again. You getting a feel for it? Yeah. Okay. So these guys have never made knives before. We've got Robin, we've got Aiden in the shop. Matt is actually doing a Damascus knife today that we started to billet yesterday. Good. Now, Rob, if you want to use the taller anvil, you may. Good. As you're starting to get a little thinner on there, ease back a little bit on how hard you're hammering. Because as that steel gets thinner, you can irreparably change it. Uh-oh. Andy, I think he's getting calluses. He might get a blister. I'm not sure. So, I'm trying to go easy on him, I swear to God. By the way, if you want to talk, right there, that's the main camera right there. Okay, so. Oh, yeah. If you guys keep in this rotation, by the time his is ready to go back into the forge, exactly. That's why when I do my when I do the tomahawk class, I limit it to 3 students because one person is working on theirs, another person is almost ready to go. Yeah, hit the glowing piece of metal. There you go. Good. Excellent. But it keeps that rotation going really well. So, and the timing works out perfect because, well, you're also dealing with a lot of mass. So, excellent. Yes, Andy, I get the joke. Excellent. Good. Right about there, especially when we start getting a lot thinner, you really want to start paying attention to those temperatures. Yeah. So, Andy, I told your son about the homemade apple concoction. Do you remember that? My homemade apple cider. Excellent. That's fine. If you want, push it in here more diagonal. Hit the apex of the curve. So the high point of that curve, which is right there. There, just once. So hit once and then look at it. See if it needs to be tapped again. That's fine. Heat it back up. That looks fine. I want it clean. When we press it, we're going to bring it flat. We're not going to have much of a choice. It's got to, yeah. Yeah, but I also don't want to waste too much material. Yeah. Yep. Good. Now, as we get closer to that tip, you're going to be like, more of the closer to hitting the actual anvil itself, and so in order to bring that tip down nice and fine, what I do is I bring it over the edge, and my hammer is landing half on the anvil and half off, and so I'm hitting like that, and I'm just going to draw that. Yeah, that's going to pull that nice and tight. Here, just take your hand and swipe that off. It's not going to be hot. It cools down instantaneously. As soon as it hits the anvil, the heat's drawn away from it. Yes, Andy, I know it took a pound of sugar to taste good. But nobody told you that you had to drink a half a gallon of it. I'm just saying. Excellent. So choke back a little bit on your hammer. I want you to hold your hammer right about there. And be mindful of how flat it's sitting. Right now you're pitching forward a little bit. Right. But I want you to keep that in mind, because really how the surface of this hammer lands on your material that you're working is changing all these different angles. So think of this as being like your thumb, and you're working a piece of clay. And so you need to be mindful of the pitch and yaw of this. It's just like working with clay. You can use your thumb once. Right. 2,000 degrees, but you know. Who's like keeping track? Wow, we're getting old, dude. One event 30 years ago turned you into a tequila drinker. Uh-huh. That's your story, and you're sticking to it. So one of the reasons why I'm going live with tonight, or with this, is because Aiden here is my buddy Andy's son, and say hi to your dad. He's watching, and essentially, Andy's all the way out in Nevada, so this way he can watch what his kid's doing. There you go. Oh, and so Jasmine can watch too. Good. Just the tip. You've heard that phrase before, right? Yeah. Well, that's the origin. That's where it came from. Yeah, just the tip. Just work the tip. That's all you need to do. I swear to God, I'll lose monetization on YouTube, but you know, whatever. That's a lie. I'm not monetized on YouTube. Just let them go. We can get them later. There you go. Excellent. Yeah, when you think that, you know, you watch this on TV, you're watching the selected parts, you know, and the one thing that you can't tell by watching something on YouTube or on TV is how that material reacts under the hammer. And it's really, it's a feeling, it's a sensation. And you start to learn that. You can close your eyes after some experience, and you can tell when that steel's too cold for you to be hitting. Because you feel how it reacts under the hammer. Yep. My advice to people is to always start with one grade of steel for forging, and keep with that. You're going to get the feel of that steel under the hammer, but then also when it comes to the science of heat treating, you know, learn one at a time. Don't try to throw 30 different grades of steel in your repertoire right away. Excellent. Now we're going to have a little bit of fish lipping there. It's just, I know that we're going to waste like a 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch of that tip. I don't really care. There's more than enough steel here for you to get like a nice, probably 9.5, 10-inch knife out of that, if we draw it down correctly. So that little bit at the very end, it's sacrificial. There are ways that you can learn to hammer that and round it out as you're hammering so that fish lipping doesn't happen. It's just because the top of the steel and the bottom of the steel are stretching out, whereas the middle of that bar is not. There you go. Good. Dad says, Aiden, hit it hard. Get pissed. Come on. God, hit me harder. Oh, God, harder. Oh, wait, no, that's yeah, that's a different kind of scratch that. We can edit that out, right? Pretend it's that girl that won't talk to you. I'll give you her number. Or boy, I don't want to, like, you know. Yeah, I wouldn't do it anymore. All right, Aiden. Now you're going to hit it. So you have what, one more? Yeah. And it's just the one side. So. Oh, yeah. Is that alternating? Yeah, that's alternating. Oh, but yeah, but how are they going to stick together?
Well, those are the two ends.
Oh, okay.
So,
So this one goes like that,
yep.
and then the one you're working on goes right in between there. Okay, that's right. Time for some ultraviolence. Hey, this is your dad. He's, over 2,000 miles away, but he's telling you what to do. So, live, via the internet, this is perfect. That's a reference to A Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange is something that you need to put into your film repertoire, and this is Spinal Tap, something you should also watch. Along with just about anything Monty Python, I would suggest Holy Grail, The Meaning of Life, and then Life of Brian. Those would be my recommended films. A Clockwork Orange, though, will, yeah, but that's where that phrase ultraviolence comes from. Just the tip. So come in at more of an angle, bring that in like that. There you go. See how that's drawing that point down? Excellent, excellent. If only eye rolling made a sound, you're correct. I can't read who said that. Oh, all those films are on HBO right now. Leave it to your dad to check. Just a little bit more. I'd like to see that drawn down to a sharper point. See if I can. Yep. So, again, on your next piece, bring it right up to the edge. And
Strike down.
not strike down, strike more like this.
Okay.
I'm bringing my hammer. See how this is just right at the edge.
Right.
And that's just going to pull that down nice and sharp.
Okay.
And then right here, I want you to come in and just kind of round this out right here. And so I want it to be kind of a gentle slope. What you're not seeing is this is actually the spine of the knife. The flat side, that's going to be your cutting edge. When we hammer along here and we thin this material down, it has nowhere else to go. So as we hammer that, we're going to bring it up here, we'll hammer, and so that's going to stretch. And that's going to lift that back up. And so that's where we get it. Again, remember, right now we're stretching the canvas. You're going to go back over here and paint the fine painting, but the painting can only fit on the canvas, on a canvas a certain size. So. Good timing. Well, thanks, Greg. I appreciate you saying that. Unless, of course, you're just being a smartass, and then, it's really hard to discover the nuance of people typing. But I like to make it as approachable as possible. And you got to put it in terms that people understand. So there we go. We're coming down. Good. Now, don't forget that very tip, or the very top of that. That's where you want to start. So what I'd like to see is I'd like to see a gentle slope. Start from here and go down. That very tip, again, like I said, this is your first knife that you've ever hammered out. We're going to consider that sacrificial. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact that you're going to end up losing that tip probably 2 or 3 times when we take it over to the grinder. It's just something that happens. It gets so thin, and all of a sudden you're like, ah, crap, it's gone. Like, you end up grinding it away or flattening it out, and it'll look like a butter knife, you know. But it's totally fine. There's nothing. Again, it's not a screw up. It's a product redesign. Yeah. Again, hit the glowing piece of metal. Good timing, Andy. He says that he can't even. He's not even interested in playing, guitar. Don't hang it so far over the edge. You see how that's. So see how it's dipping down a little bit? That's because I was hanging over that edge, and there was no support under there. So just be mindful of that on your next heat. If you address that on your next heat, it'll actually flatten out. Oh, you're supposed to be wearing glasses? No, is that your mom? Oh, it's definitely harder than it seems. It's yeah. I've been teaching now for what, 7 years full time, and God, I bet you the first year of teaching classes, it was really frustrating that you're trying to explain something to people, but you don't have the words to put it in. All you can do is you show them, but that's finding the words was the hard part. Good. See how that just straightened that out? Excellent. So on your next heat, that's where I want you to bring. That's more of that tip. I really like how that's curving down there. If this helps, come in and sort of lock this against. See how I have it locked against my hip here? Yeah. It's not necessarily an ideal thing to do, but it might be a good way for you to stop it from bouncing back. So kind of lock it against the hip, and you're just going to hit like that. Okay, and those light glancing blows are going to bring that. They're just going to bring that in to where it needs to be. It looks great. And again, remember, there's nothing that we can't unhammer there. So, Matt, did you get it done? Yeah, it's fine. Wait, you still have one more side to do? Okay. Try not to take too much material away. I really want you to end up with a nice Damascus knife. The twist pattern, so the stacked twist pattern that we're doing here is really cool, but it's going to take a little bit to pull it off. I'll be very happy if you pull it off like without a hitch. Good. Excellent. So, yeah, the only part that I see, it's dipping in just a little bit right there. So, planishing. So, like, remember when cars used to be made out of metal and you could fix them with a hammer? That's called planishing. So it's those light hits. It's all smoothing it out. I know that you think that all cars are made out of plastic, but believe it or not, at one point in time, they were made out of this stuff called steel. Now, I don't think you can buy a pickup truck from Ford without an aluminum frame. Yeah, which means that if you're in like one little fender bender, the whole truck is totally. Oh, they say it's stronger? I don't know. Oh, I've been trying to keep his appendages intact. There you go. Good. For your first time swinging a hammer at hot steel, this is not a bad first foray. And so, Andy, I know that I believe you're barbecuing today, right? Because we ordered barbecue from a place in Hershey called Smoke. Aiden got some wings. I got the brisket quesadilla. Oh, that's right. We have nachos yet. We have a whole thing of nachos we haven't even touched yet. Okay, maybe Matt's touched them. Before they get ice cold, I should. Lots of jalapenos on there. Oh, those pulled pork nachos. That's some prime stuff right there. Good. Yep, just like that. Don't go over the edge. Perfect. There you go. Cool. Good. What's that? Sometimes I use the power hammer. I mean, you know, but yeah, I can pull out the length with any hammer. It doesn't matter. It's just, again, like I was saying earlier today, the power hammer hits the same every single time. It's consistent. And you know what? The older I get, I have to say, the less consistent I am based on injuries and everything else. So, you know, sometimes it's nice to balance that out. It's not something that I would say, your first run out of the gate, don't go out and buy a power hammer. It's going to be a useless tool. If you don't know how to swing a real hammer and make the steel do what you want it to do, you know, by hand, then that is just going to be a huge expense, and it's going to destroy more than, you know, than what you actually create with it. Yes. Oh, Asher, glad you're watching. Yes, pulled pork nachos from Smoke over in Hershey. Really good. This is day 2 that Matt and I have from eating from there. I don't know what's on the menu tomorrow. So, Aiden, what I want you to do is I want you to come in, bring it over here. I want you to come in a little bit more of an angle, all right? So, come in just like this, and just bring that right there. Okay? I know, it's frustrating. Don't overhang it. There you go, just like that. Cool. And keep in mind, it's not cheating to use the grinder. I'm just saying, it's not. There are certain things that, especially when you're starting out, that you're just not going to be able to accomplish with a hammer. You know, you can learn how to do those things, but sometimes instead of getting frustrated, okay, I know that I can do it over here. So you get it to a point Excellent. That's good. Looks like a really nice transition. I see a little bit of a flat spot across the top here. That doesn't bother me too much, though. I like that. What we want to do next is we're going to take this and I'm going to lay this down on the anvil. And before we get too far ahead of ourselves, what I want to do is I want to separate out. Remember how when we did our stock removal knife, we had a clear definition between the handle material and the blade material. So I want to come up and I'm going to go at about 45-degree angle. And I'm going to mark using the edge of the anvil. See how we've got a nice defined line in there. So when this is hot, you're going to be able to come over and you're going to feel that. And I want you to do the exact same thing. 45-degree angle. Your hammer is landing at a 45-degree angle to the edge of this. And essentially, we want to drive that in about 3/8 of an inch. And so that's going to tell us all this material back here. Oh, thank you, Asher, for hosting us. So right here, this is all going to be handle material, and that is your complete blade. So, yep. And once we get that notch in there, we're good to go. Now, you're actually using a lighter hammer. Let me show you. Now, this is my personal hammer. Hey, let me see your tongue. Just to help you a hair. Now, what's nice about this is I have a broader face on here. So, see how I'm just coming in? I'm really just letting the hammer drop. And then turn it just like that. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. And if you want, you can try. Now, this is my personal hammer. This is my baby. So the rule is don't F it up. Okay? Because this is the hammer that I like to use for everything. You guys are welcome to try it. That's a 2.5-pound French hammer. French peen hammer. No. No mark on the other side. Only the one side. So that notch goes over the edge. Excellent. There you go. Yep. Bring your hammer. Your hammer wants to land there. That way you don't hit it. And I did say 45-degree angle, and you were only at a 38-degree angle. So just be mindful of that. It's metal. It's really hard to screw it up at this stage, anyway. There's plenty of things that we can do that will screw it up later. That's for sure. But at this stage of the game, no, there's not much that we can screw up, and we can always fix it. You ready? You ready to do some welding? Great. That means I need to bend over to plug in the welder. This is, every year past 40, this becomes much more of a chore. It really makes me want to put in a dedicated outlet for the welder, but instead I have a 30-foot extension cord for the welder and the hydraulic press. Which makes sense because what if I have to take the welder outside to do something on the truck or the trailer, And I don't ever run the hydraulic press and the welder at the same time. So that made sense. The plasma table, on the other hand, the CNC table, has its own dedicated outlet. But again, I don't use them both at the same time. So, all right, I need you to flux those. So grab the. No, Asher, you don't need to weld anything. We're no, I did my own welding yesterday, son. Look at this. I did some lovely brackets for the power hammer. That's good enough. So right now, we're going to come back and we're going to do that handle last. Okay, we're really breaking this down into 4 steps. We get to the point, we divide our handle from our blade. Now we're going to do our bevels on our blade, and then we're going to go back and do the handle. So what I want you to do is lay it down, grab it from the tang. Yeah, I don't think that forging a knife that, you know, this has to be some super huge complicated process. And if we do the next portion right, you don't have to sit there and flip on both sides. It's all about the angle of attack. So go ahead and put it back in. Yep. Yep. It's a little warm. Yeah. So what he's doing right now is he is applying a paste flux to that. It's just an added precaution. As a matter of fact, one of my guys on YouTube that watches, his name's Jürgen. He's from Germany. And he was like, well, have you ever used paste flux? And I'm like, no, but I have a whole bunch. And so I did it one day during a live stream. And hey, I liked the results of it, so that was good. So, Jürgen, if that's you watching, I don't know who's watching on YouTube right now, but if so, thank you very much. And I'm sorry it's been so long since I've been on YouTube streaming. I've just gotten the ability back, but we are going to be switching everything over to Twitch. In the near future. Not immediate future. And that's just because there's certain guidelines that I have to follow once we become affiliate with Twitch. So basically, I can't stream on both platforms at the same time. Yes. So how we do that? We're going to switch back to a lighter hammer. Let me just show you really quick. So I come in and I keep my body parallel, all right? And my hammer is landing at an angle. And remember typewriters? Carriage return. My hammer is always landing in the same spot. Carriage return. Just like that. And no. If we do it correctly, look, we've got a bevel on that side as well because of that slight angle and how our hammer is landing. So if you do it correctly, you can do it with just some minor adjustments at the very end. Say you're slightly off center. But no, I watch these guys doing this, you know, on like YouTube, and I see them flipping one side to the other and one side to the other, and you're fighting back and forth. I'm like, man, you're really overcomplicating this. That if you just simplify and get the angle down, play it right, you can really simplify the whole thing. Yeah. All right, so you got it laid out how you want it, huh? I think you're right. So. All right, nobody stare at the bright lights. Oh, man, I lost my grounding clamp. Yeah, Aiden, don't look at the bright lights. It's gonna blind you forever, dude. Not really. It's called welder splash. It goes away. Yeah, see, when I'm doing this, I'm lining it up and then I close my eyes and I'm not actually looking at the workpiece. It's okay. I'm really saying that because there's going to be somebody on YouTube that's going to comment later that, oh, you really need to wear a face shield when you're doing that. And I'm like, it's called tack welding. Boy, you had to make a big gap there, didn't you? What's that? No, because then you would have had to clean it again. Okay. Some of this is sacrificial, so... I think that's good. Alright, so Matt, we need to get back in there. You've got the whole left side there. That's also going to be our hottest zone of that forge. And what I want you to do is I want you to heat that up. And once it gets up really close to temperature, I want you to pull it out. And to the best of your ability, I want you to brush that off. And I want you to flux it. Okay? The humidity today is killing me. Haven't been used to forging at 80% humidity. You know, wintertime it's much drier. Now, Rob, I have another hammer that might work really well for you. And this is my personal favorite. So this is what we call a dog's head hammer. And so when I'm doing this, bringing it in, and it's really just a snap of the wrist. So I'm not doing a lot of work with the elbow. It's, see how I'm pulling that along. You're getting a really nice shape, but where that really comes into play is I like it for smoothing those bevels out. So, but you definitely have a nice knife shape. If you're watching us on Twitch or YouTube, don't forget to like the video or follow us on Twitch. Like, subscribe, do whatever, you know. That looks great. That looks great. You want to try that? Yeah. So where I want you to actually hit is right here. I want you to just smooth that out. Yep. Good. I know, it probably feels a little funky for that. But you can forge an entire blade with that style hammer. It's an odd feeling. It's really nice for doing those bevels. So, you can... We have all those other hammers set up right there. Look. 4. One in the tray. And, you know, back here is like another 16 hammers that you could try if you really want to. I'm not saying you have to. But, now, what I do want to find out is there's a certain pair of tongs that Matt was using yesterday, and now I don't see. No, those are not the ones I want. Those are not the tongs I'm looking for. Those are not the tongs I'm looking for. But you were using them yesterday, so I know they're here. No, they're actually... there they are. It's hard to describe the shape of these. furiously. Yeah. It's okay. I just want to do something very quick. Just taking up the airspace. Just so we don't have any undue oxidation. Oh wow, you got the top off your water bottle this time. Realize there's a camera right there. You just had a nice glamour shot. Too bad I can't pop that one up. I haven't made that one a full screen camera yet. Good. It's looking really nice. What do you think of the overall shape? On your first knife, what I like to obviously there's a little bit that needs to be corrected there, but the overall shape in general it's pleasing to the eye. And again, I think the eye is the worst thing to judge, But we can't obviously put it in our hands. You got to start somewhere. So you pick something and you go, well, I can definitely make a knife. That knife is in there. It's like you have the block of granite in front of you, and the data is in there somewhere, but you got to chisel it away. And that's yeah. I mean, you're right. Don't mind that. Just put that anywhere. I don't even know what. Oh. Squares are the one thing that I can never find here in the shop. Good. So let's go ahead. I'm going to mark this out. All right. So, you all right? You burn yourself. Just a little bit. Okay. Jess, if you're watching, he needs his boo-boo kiss. Well, I would say dad, but that's not really a dad thing. Like when you're little, when you're 6, we do that. But otherwise we're just suck it up, buttercup. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark that out. Okay. So now that notch is there. All of this is your tang. All of that is your blade. So we're just going to put it in. Flip. That's good. That's fine. Again, flux is not glue. Okay. Those are the wrong tongues to be using on that, brother. Flux is essentially, you're right, Andy. That's his mother's job. Flux is essentially helping us to clean the surface. It prevents that oxidation that that has been forming on there. If we have oxidation in between those layers, we're not going to get adhesion in our rough. And welds are one of those things where it's not particularly difficult, but a lot of people make it really difficult to forge weld. Most of the time that I see guys screwing up forge welds is because they actually hammer too hard. Now, we're going to set this with a press, but And I'm going to check something really quick. We've been running that really hard today, so we are literally at the temperature scale for most forge welding. So I knew that we would be just because of what we were doing earlier. That tank, because I switched over to a smaller tank this weekend, instead of I haven't seen my propane guy in a couple of weeks. So, if he's watching, please swing by. I need you to fill the big tanks. What's that? Yeah, I'll use that one. Good. Excellent. Heat it up. Do it again. What? What do you mean it's stuck on the tongs? What'd you do to my tongs? What? My God, man. No. I'm actually not going to blame this on you. This is something from someone else in another class, a Damascus class that will not be named. It was not you. No, someone, so I've just put you right in the middle there. Someone put these tongs in the hydraulic press and fed in too far and caught just that end. And now, every time that it comes up, I just don't have time to do it here in class. But what I really need to do is find the right stone wheel and Dremel that out or grind it out to open it back up. But as long as you catch the right way, it'll be totally fine. No, we're going for a while. We're going to go a little deeper on that too. Not see how it's. We're at the right temperature. We're at the right temperature back, but like I want to make it as difficult as possible for me to pull out of there. Yeah. Good, Rob. That looks great. I prefer to call it tough love, Andy. I'm not giving him hell. Hey, get off your phone. You're in class. Your dad didn't spend his hard-earned money for you to be playing on your phone while you're supposed to be learning something. There you go, Andy. I just gave him hell. Oh, you're the one texting him? Oh, now this whole family's screwed up. I see how it is. Good. Any day now. There. More of an angle, 45 degrees. Right there. Yep, go. Go. Hit it. Hit it. Come on. A little more of an angle. Aim for the corner of the anvil. Right there. Hit it! Don't hit me. Okay, that's good. That's good. I thought I was going to get a hammer to the face there for a second. I'm just flattening it out. Can you see that notch? That notch is really just there as a visual representation to tell you what all is tang and what all is blade. Okay? That way you don't hammer an edge on your tang. That would make it really uncomfortable. So, there we go. Have some fun. Now, if you don't mind, I need to set something. Hold on. How what? What were you saying? $23. Okay, so here's the thing. When forge welding, carbon content, the higher the carbon content, the lower the welding point. Believe it or not, mild steel is harder to forge weld than say like 1095. And I think cleanliness really matters as well. Like 2 dirty pieces of steel are not going to make a good weld. We're still not completely set on here. And the reason I was doing this for Matt is because we're actually doing a much more advanced than just say a flat pattern. Okay. So if you notice, what we did was it was like 4 pencils stacked on end, and so I'm setting that weld this way. And if we go even just the slightest amount wrong on that, they're just all going to break apart. Yeah. No. We can flatten that. No, we're good. It's that stupid angle on the very back of it. Yeah. But what I'm worried about more is to get it contacting. So, yep. Little by little. Yep. Oh my God, he's actually eating food again. This is great. See, Andy, we made sure that he's actually eating. Good. That looks great. So let me flip it up. Let's see how thick it is. Actually, I was talking about the edge. There we go. Cool. I'd like you to go just, if you could reduce that by, say, not quite half, but close to half again. Yeah. I don't want you to go too much more because we're starting to get that upward sweep at the very end. That's fine. It doesn't have to stay that way. We can grind it away, but still. Let's make our job easier, right? Now, same thing for you. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be grabbing it and okay, now this is going to be really complicated for you to understand because you've never actually dealt with one of these things before. But essentially, your hammer's always going to be hammering right here. That's where it's going to land. And you're going to pull out with the left-hand piece or with your tongs. When you get to the very tip, it's like a typewriter. You ever seen one of those? Yeah. You might have seen those in a museum. Hey, I know you're 16, so a movie. Yeah. They're probably really cool to use again. I mean, yeah. But yeah, it's like a carriage return. So back to where you started. Out, carriage reset. And notice how, see the angle that my hammer is landing at? That is making the angle of the bevel. So if you look at the negative space between the face of the hammer and the face of the anvil, that's the shape of the bevel. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do one more set, and then I'm going to start flattening. Okay. Got a slight issue here. I have a slight issue with something. No, it's not that bad. Just that. Our temperature is because somebody was running the forge at a really hot temperature all morning. Notice the tank there? So it's frosting up. So, what I want to do is I want to set this over on the side. Okay. I'm going to get these guys, they're almost done. Okay. And we're essentially just going to give that a couple of minutes to defrost. And we'll be able to hit the temperatures up. I mean, the other thing I could do is put it in a tub of water, but man, that's so like 1997. Like, that's janky. Nobody does that anymore. Jeremy Eichelberger? Wow! Oh my god, you're famous, dude! I hear you make swords and stuff. You're my hero. I remember when you used to send me text messages. I remember when you used to come to the shop and drink beer. Thank you, Jeremy, for watching. Even though it looks like you're gone now. But I still appreciate your existence. Good. Oh, it's great. So, right about there, I think I'd actually stop. That's looking really nice. What I want you to focus on, yep, flatten it. Good. Now, instead of doing it like that, watch that chair. That chair is really dangerous, by the way. So, what I want you to do, if you notice that there's a curve, so tap, look. 2 hits, you can overcorrect something. So it's literally just tap and look, just one at a time. Now we've got a little bit of a, like right here. I could probably take care of that. I would not suggest hammering steel this cold. But it's totally fine. So where that's off even a little bit, we can grind it correct. I mean, we're going to be grinding this, so. So now you're going to back it up. Yep. And yes. And so all you're going to be doing is start here at the notch. See how I'm bringing it diagonal across the anvil? That's because we want to support here and here. We want that spine to stay straight. But if we don't support here, if it's overhanging like this and you hammer down, this is actually going to bend. So bring it diagonally across the anvil. And we're going to hammer 1, 2, turn flat, 1, 2, back up. And so I like to concentrate right here in this section because that's kind of where we want it the thinnest. And, you know, if it stays that wide at the very end, I don't care. But this is where we get that length out of it. Is he still texting you? Is he still texting you? Oh, okay. Isn't she watching too? Oh, okay. She was watching, I think. Hey, Asher, are you still watching? Come down here. I have a mission for you. Yeah, I get that you're kind of listening. I said, come down here. I have a mission for you. Now, wrong side. That's all right. You didn't screw anything up. This is the side that. That's where we want the edge. All you really did there is take out some of the when you misstruck here. So we're good. We're good. So heat up, hammer right along there. Watch those tongs. They're starting to get hot. Yeah. This big orange thing. That wasn't you. You're being good for now? Yeah. Yep. Exactly. What's that? I would try getting it hot before you hit it. I mean, back in my day, we used to get it. That's actually where that "get it hot and bang it" comes from. There was an old guy in our local, the Pennsylvania Artists Blacksmith Association, and Bill Purcell's his name. And Bill would stand at the back of our demonstrations, for different hammer-ins, and all of a sudden you'd hear this. Back in my day, we used to get it hot before we hit it, and right, yelling at the young kid, because Bill's I don't know, 90,000 years old. I mean, he's like the 1,000-year-old man. Whatever he says, it's just got to be funny because he's still alive. And he's seen more comedy than anyone else ever has. So, but yeah, he'd yell all these smart-ass comments. And Bill's only this tall because he might have been 6 foot tall at one point in time, but he shrank, real talented guy. He's made all the chisels and stuff that I use for making animal heads and stuff like that. Cool, Asher, thank you. But yeah, just one of my favorite guys. And he gave me all of his old knife templates, stuff that he made back in the 60s and 70s. They're all metal templates that he used to use for. I mean, they're old school butcher knives and stuff like that. I never knew that Bill made knives. So. No, I guess he did a couple of sets for people that were butchers and stuff like that. He never really pushed it. He was more of just an everyday, an ornamental blacksmith. But he made really cool things. He's the first person I ever watched forge a dragonfly. Yeah. A lot of these real tiny sculptures and stuff that he'd make these small chisels that would pull he did tongues and a wolf's head with a tongue coming out of it. Just crazy stuff. Yeah, I was, and you know, I was actually debating filling it last night. Filling a second one. Running two concurrently is not a problem. I thought there was still 20 or 30 pounds left in the 100-pound tank, and I guess it's reading wrong. So that's all. So send the errand boy. Oh, you need my keys? Is Matt still here? I don't know. Matt who? Oh, the dead guy. The dead guy's name is Matt. Cool. What's that? Your fly's open? Who's that? That's your mom. This is actually one of the first. We've done this before in class where I've had people, and we've live streamed an actual class. But I think it's actually kind of cool that people can see what you're doing. And just like Andy's watching from a few thousand miles away. I mean, that's really cool. But I get grandkids sent by their grandparents, and let's face it, Grandma doesn't want to sit in this hot ass dirty shop, but she wants to see what's going on. So there you go. So let's see that. Don't poke my eye out. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a curve. Let me just straighten that out for you. Surprisingly, your edge is nice and straight. There we go. It's not completely straight, but it's good enough for government work. Dude, your mom's a voyeur. Hey, my mom watches this too, so I have to watch what I say. My mom has never heard me swear. I'm kidding. I think my mom has heard me swear. Yeah? Get a little warm for you? Wait until the kid gets back. No, because when I throw that other tank on there, that thing's going to spring to life again. The reason why we pulled Matt's out is because my temperature's a little bit too low, and if I kept on going with that, what would happen is it would over-oxidize, and then we'd never be able to get that weld. Now, that's not particularly true. Worst case scenario, we could split it apart, clean up those two edges again, re-tack weld it, and do it all over again. You swear like a trucker. A classy lady. I don't know. Can she hear you? You might have to talk louder so that microphone over there picks you up. I'm the only one wearing a lavalier, so. What's that? Oh boy. Oh wait, I met your mom, didn't I? Yeah, I was gonna say she's been here at the shop before. She came to pick Timmy up. Yeah. Good. Nice angle there. Good. Excellent. What we're looking for right there, you've got that. See how it's, look at the color variation. You see how it's dark here and it's brighter up here. That means that our steel is actually thinner here, and that gradient is actually showing us how that's coming down. Because the more mass we have, the more heat it's going to hold. So there's many different ways to read that. What's that? Oh, while you're just screwing around. No, if I had some mild steel, I'd challenge you to something. I don't have the right size mild steel, but if I had some like half-inch bar, kilt pins. Yes. So a kilt pin looks like this. And it's got a needle, and it loops like that. Now, people use them like your mom, if she ever wears like a big wool scarf or something like that, you know, like you can clip things like that with it as well. But getting them even, getting both sides, because you're essentially hammering this horseshoe shape, and you're trying to add some stylized points to it, and you're trying to taper both sides evenly. So it's a real good lesson in symmetry. It's all about keeping that equal, and it's a good exercise. It really is. It's neat to do. Believe it or not, where Asher is right now, they probably have some, but the problem is most of it is probably galvanized. And now, I'm not saying that you can't use galvanized steel. However, you have to remove the galvanization. Aiden, get off your phone. I don't care what your mom says. Sorry, I'm reading for your dad. So, right, supposed to just. You said back upside the head, right? No. This was a conversation we had privately. So, yeah. I haven't even checked for any of those. No, he has not sent me any. Oh, Greg, if you're still watching, what software am I using? I'm using Streamlabs OBS. But I have a very I'll add a public reply here. I have a very custom setup. I've actually got 6 cameras here in the shop, and you know, it's I don't know. So if you're not watching, I'm replying. If you are watching, I'm still replying. I don't know why that didn't come into the main chat. So. And I have no idea why it's saying, why the title is actually for a wrong date, because I did change that. I swear to God. Unless that was to a different video. I didn't look where you commented. So ignore that if I'm just being wrong. Oh no, that was our old one. Okay. So, Aiden, I would say just straighten it out at this point. I see enough of material there that you've got a really nice knife blade. All we need to do is take it over to the grinder and clean it up. So I want you to straighten it out, and then we're going to flip it around, and I want you to work on the tank. Well, the reason I like that whole thing where you're right up at the edge is because it basically it doesn't allow my hammer to over travel back, and I'm not putting any deep hammer marks into the face of my steel. So I'm actually using the step here as a stop. I'm not hitting very hard, so I don't even though this anvil's got a lot of wear and tear there anyway. But it's just something that I do to try to keep that as clean as possible. So. How many Miller Lights before you change the date? Oh, that's right. Put the phone down. That's not Miller Lite. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is just some generic soda that comes in a white can. Yeah. And how long does it take to get a piece of metal to that red hot? Well, first off, red hot is really, really cold. Red hot, if we turned off the lights in here, steel would actually become incandescent. That is the emission of light via thermal radiation. So steel becomes incandescent at 930 degrees Fahrenheit. And so if we turned off the lights in here and we made it dark, at 930 degrees, your steel would have a slight red color to it. You can't see it here in the lighting. In the lighting, what you're going to notice that red hot, quote unquote, is probably about 1250 to 1300. So it really depends on the temperature of the lighting that you're using. And if you're outside, it all goes out the window. I mean, it really changes a lot of that. Cool. That's fine. So turn it around. Grab it by the pointy end. No, with the tongs, not with your hand. He's your kid, Andy. I swear to God, he actually asked me that. Do I grab it with the tongs or mine? I don't know. So put it back in. Come on, you got to get it hot before you can bang it. Oh, and we're cooking his brain. So I would concentrate just, right here, that looks great. I want to see that area cleaned up. Just right there in that transition. Think about it this way. You take your fist and you go like that. We've got the length. And if we need to steal a little quarter of an inch, which we probably will anyway, see how it kind of I call it a guppy belly. You ever see a pregnant guppy in a fish tank? That stupid curved belly thing? I hate that in a knife. I think it looks really amateurish. So I tend to grind that away to sharpen and make a nice transition there. So we've got enough length in that handle. I'll show you what we do with the power hammer. Yeah, do not put your fingers in the power hammer. That's a bad thing. Thank God. I actually have extra microphones, and I'm glad I have extra microphone packs, and I'm glad that I didn't put them on you guys. There are certain things that just be glad you're not hearing the little side conversations. Don't put your junk in the power hammer is basically the bottom line of everything today. Like that on stuff. Right. Because... So, what you want to do, I want you to come in. So, sitting down. Just like that. Turn it flat. You're literally halfway there, kid. I mean, obviously, it's curved. Oh, suck it up, Buttercup. Yes, Andy, you are absolutely correct. It only hurts for a second. So I'm going to apologize. I'm going to turn off my microphone for a second. So aside from straightening this, that's because this side was a little thicker than this side. So that's why it curved that way. But now we're nice and consistent, so I want you to come in and hammer it like that. Yep, yeah, and I just want to see that spine go flat. So. Oh my God! Whoa! Whoa! Well, if I ever had a chance to be monetized, I think I've just lost it now. Thank God I do have my channel listed as for mature content. Yeah. Yes, and your grandson might be watching. I know. How do you think he was made in the first place? Yeah, well. Small little bit, hitting really fast? Yeah, okay. Looking good. Oh, we have too much fun in here. It's so much nicer to actually have other people in the shop when I'm live streaming. Because let me tell you, otherwise I'm in here talking like this to no one. Yeah, well, I mean, I still have fun with it, and I still, have a couple of beers and, whatever. But I feel like I'm talking to myself half the time. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yes, too bad it's a different channel, but Tabletops and Anvils, that's the channel to subscribe to if you want to see some serious Pathfinder, RPG, D&D kind of tabletop gaming. Subscribe on Twitch, because we don't broadcast on YouTube anymore. Although we should, I don't know. That's what I was wondering. Rob, if you haven't heard of Twitch, yes, you're old. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, brother? Long time no see. Jeff's one of my guys that watches. He's actually here in PA, and yeah, he watches when I live stream during the week. What's this?
I got a random text. They're going to drop like 4 sizes in a month.
I would be offended that they sent me that text.
They send it to me all the fucking time. I tell them bad dicks, and
So, what are you on, like some Chubby Hubby forum or something, or like how do they know what your shirt size is? Oh, you put it in your notes? Oh, of course. That is actually true. But you try to say that and you're a pig. I mean, good, Aiden. Yep. Come in a little diagonal. There you go. Just like that. Good. Nice. Turn it flat. Excellent. So, do me a favor. Before that goes back in, hand me the hammer. I want you to make a fist. Okay? Well, I didn't say touch the steel. Come on. We can do it longer. Wow. Hey, tough guy. You won't have any hair on your knuckles after that. So what we're looking for is, I think that's not too bad of a size. So let me run it under the power hammer, and then I'm going to have you guys try the power hammer as well. So, Jeff, glad to hear that you're doing great, man. What's that? Oh, you know? Okay, that's fine. So, been there, done that. Yeah, I spent a month in Crow's Chester Burn Center right now. I was in a coma for most of it, so yeah, 2008. Good. No, that looks great. That's flip it down. What we're looking. See how straight that spine is? That's all I was looking for. That's a mild correction. So hold it up, like point it. Yeah, so you can see. See how there's a little bit of a. I can see a little curve this way. So what you want to do is bring it diagonally across the anvil. What was that? What's that? Oh, somebody followed. Martio Workshop. All right. So what I want you to do is, when you see that curve there, look for the apex of the curve, and then so if it's coming this way, and the apex of the curve is here, you want to bring that as diagonally as possible across the anvil, so you have more, and then you just hit the high point right in the center. Because if you try to do it the other way, if you just have an end floating up and you hit, the way physics works is it's going to transfer that energy, and you're going to end up getting like a weird sine wave sort of shape out of it. No, it looks pretty good.
So keep drawing it out? Or...
Yeah. Hello! Is it Martio Workshops? Awesome. Thanks for the follow. No, that looks really good. What I want you to do, grab it by the handle now. Yes, with the tongs, Rob. With the tongs. My God. Now I have to explain that to everybody. That's great. I swear to God, they are joking. It's okay. Aiden was probably not joking, but he's 16, so we're working with him, and his dad is supervising from Nevada, and his mom's watching from down the road. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Ah, you're Danish, so you don't do Spanish very well. That's understandable. You know, one of my favorite memories of all time was I spent some time in Mexico City when I was 15. I was down there helping to put roofs on schools, and going into a Chinese restaurant and hearing Spanish spoken with a Chinese accent. It was the greatest thing in the world. I can't imitate it, but I love it. Look how nice and consistent that is. So now, what I want you to do, heat it up, and I'll just do that for you on that side as well. Okay? And then you're done. You want to try the power hammer? All right. So, Aiden said, I don't know that I'm ready for it. And I said, that's fine. I'll just run through really quick. There's a lot of machine here behind that. So, you know. Right. So bring it over here. So your foot is going to go right here. Yep. Get that ready. Get your foot ready. Go. Go. Light. Ease up. So go ahead. Put it under. Level. There you go. See how you can just feather the control of that. Nice. Stop. Take a look. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's for cutting around corners. No, it's totally fine.
Heat it up, 1 or 2 tries.
Oh, really? Hey, yeah, shoot me a private message. I won't get a chance to look at it until I'm back, Yeah, I love streaming the classes, and I try to do some streaming during the week, and putting much more of an emphasis here on Twitch. So, let's just take a look here really quick, Aiden. Man, that's looking great, brother. Let me just, So, what's important is that nice distal taper coming down there. We can pull right here. We can just kind of grind that up a little bit. So, that looks great. For what we're working with, it's more important that we have a nice straight piece, and that it's something manageable. And think about what you started with. I'm proud to see what the material was that you started with and the amount of manipulation that went into this. Not a bad job. And your other knife looks great as well. And so tomorrow, I don't know that I'm gonna stream the portion of the class tomorrow where we're doing a lot of hand sanding, because God, does that get boring? Yeah, it's very repetitive. But yeah, Martillo, like I said, shoot me a private message on Twitch, and when I get a chance after class, I'll take a look at it. It's just hard for me to like concentrate and read stuff while actually being in the shop. You got a little bit of a waviness here in the edge of your blade. Do me a favor. I want to see the profile. That looks good, and hold it right there. Your spine is looking fairly straight. So really, the only place that I think that you need to adjust is right here, right at that transition area. It seems to just have a little bit of a kick out. Oh, okay. I'll have to take a look at that. Hey. Yes, Jeff. This is my 2-day class. Actually, technically, this is yeah. I will. I'm like everyone for the hand sanding. Jeff, going back to what you were saying, this is actually Asher. Go around that way. This is actually Matt was here doing Damascus or pattern welded steel yesterday, and so we're about ready to finish up the welding of his billet today, and it'll all like work out in the wash. And then Aiden and Rob joined us today, so it's a 3-person class, but only Matt joined me for the pattern welded portion. So that looks great. Yep. And now for the really fun part. Can you hear the difference in the pressure? There we go. Yeah, well, and that's why that's why I had Matt pull that out. I just wasn't getting the right weld set there. So instead of screwing it up, what I did was I fluxed it. That way it doesn't oxidize anymore, it stays clean, and we should be able to fix that. I told him I was going to set that weld anyway. Where'd he run off to? Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a fun 2-day class, that's for sure. When Matt gets back, he's going to have a billet, which is what I said I'd do. I said I'd set it for him. The reason why I'm setting this for Matt is because he wanted to do something a little bit more challenging. And he did all the individual parts. It's just getting that weld set. That's the real pain in the butt. So hopefully everything comes together the way that I want it. I know that 2 out of 4 pieces are welded to each other. So that's cool. It's just getting the 2 pieces that were welded to each other correctly, getting them to join in the middle. That's the only portion that, is... What's that? My hydraulic press is 59,620 PSI. That would be 30 tons-ish. Close to it. Not quite, but... Yeah, so 30 tons, it's... I don't know. It doesn't necessarily put out 30 tons, depending on your die size. Like, those... The 6... Those... The dies that are in there right now are 6 inches by, 6 inches by 2.5 inches. That's a lot of surface area, so it really displaces a lot of that. Yeah. Now, when I put the 1-inch round dies in there, you're getting the full force. Yeah. So. I could draw one of those billets out, and it's just flat pattern. It's just random pattern Damascus. It would just be funny. Here, man. I don't get it. No, but he's being a nice guy, so we're not going to do that. Yeah. Yep. See that heat right there? That's what I'm looking for. Believe it or not, with the Damascus class, once a month. So Rob was asking about how often, with the flux and everything else. If it's just me, it would not be that often. But students overflux stuff. They think that flux is blue, regardless of what I say to the fact, it still happens. And it's just the borax, which is what that is, kills the liner. Yeah, it just destroys it. So. Ooh, boy, that is hot. That's got some heat. Nice. They're coming down temp. Now, a lot of times, I should have a silver pencil around here somewhere, but a lot of my pencils and markers have gotten eaten Wintertime, mice is really bad. You know, they come in and destroy everything. And wax line pencils for some odd reason. Because the silver pencils are actually a wax, they're not lead. Yeah, they love those things. But so that's where I kind of I draw on it with a marker. You know, even a regular Sharpie marker, just to give me an idea as to what I can see in there, and then I take it over to the grinder and take it to reality. You know, but I start with the same way. No, there were no sparks on that. We don't need sparks on it, Jeff. I'm not trying to burn material away. I'm trying to weld it. It's a delicate balance of temperature. Got it. Pretty sure I do anyway. A little gap right here. Now, I mean, when doing stuff in the coal forge, I oftentimes get some sparking going on. That's not necessarily a great thing. So what he's talking about is steel at 2350 degrees. That's our general welding temperature, plus or minus depending on the carbon content of the steel. However, at 2351 degrees, steel goes through this process where it essentially sublimates. It burns. It rapidly oxidizes. And so it goes through an ignition process, and it looks like a sparkler. Yeah. No, it'll happen in the forge. And it's more common to do that in the coal forge. Because a coal forge, depending on how you have it stacked, how you have it built up, you can have a temperature that's 1500 degrees, right 2 inches away from a hot spot that's 3000 degrees. So, you know, it's one of the reasons why I don't use it anymore in class. Because I was just sick and tired of people essentially destroying what they were working on. And people would get, 2-3 hours into working on something, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, okay, yeah, that was for nothing. And here you go, here's another piece of steel. So now I'm out more material, and the material's not the cost portion of it. It's the fuel, it's the time, it's, everything else that goes into it. That's what we're really concerned about. And so you burn it, you put a piece in, you turn around, you grab your water bottle, you take the top off, you take a sip, you turn around, you've got half a night. And it was literally, in that 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds, it can vary that fast. So, a bowl out of a saw blade. That's kind of a cool idea. I've been meaning to, I've been wanting to make a press specifically for doing sauté pans. All right. So now, when that comes back, his billet's ready to go. Ow, that's hot. My God, Aiden, you're right. Hot steel does burn. I never knew that before. I'm so glad that I have a teenager here to tell me the reality of the situation. That's good, because that's the very end. I have another box, but I keep on forgetting to bring it down. It's sitting on my kitchen table or my dining room table right now. Like, I don't have a box of, oh yeah, I need to take that down to the shop. Because it's literally 20 Mule Team Borax. Like, you buy it at the grocery store, in the laundry department. Nothing special about it. I mean, there are guys that use anhydrous borax, which is available through welding supply stores. Essentially, anhydrous borax has the water taken out of it, or it's been baked, and you can make it yourself in a tin pan. Yeah, but they do it in the oven. There's instructions. I don't know the specific temperatures, but. Do we actually have proof of that? It's okay. We'll make another one. We can everything that you've done the second time. It's always faster. Don't worry, Matt. We can get this all done in no, we're good. Oh, man. Yeah, they were just waiting for their stuff to cool. See? Oh. Brought it all together for you.
Alright.
So now,
Am I doing the same top and bottom? Like make it...
I want you to do it gently.
Right.
So I want you to do it with the rolling mill. Now what's going to suck is this is only 4.5 inches long. So you're only going to be able to do 2 1/4 inches at a time for holding on to it and spinning it around. But what we want to do is... Oh yeah, we really cranked the heat, by the way. Out there is where we want it. Power switch is there. You've used it before, haven't you? Didn't we use that during your one-day class? No? Oh, okay. Well, so the general rule of yes, yes, you're going in flat. You push in, so keep your tongs. Tongs are going to come right up to here. Push down, and just let it feed back. Okay? So, not really. Don't need to flip so much. Rotate. We got a little bit of a... And that's what I don't like. Okay. You know what? We're not going to dick with it. What I want you to do, pull this down. We're going to separate it, clean it, restack it. Everything else is doing great. So why fight a lost cause? It'll take us mere minutes once that's cool to split that, clean it with the grinder. Yeah, we've got 3 pieces here welded perfect. So I just want you to separate that once it's cool. You're gonna sand one side, sand the other. Just remember we played it. Because that's better than chasing a problem, you know. And it's a much simpler weld. at this point because all we have is 2 pieces of them. Simple. So, but it could be. See how it could just be a little bit of oxidation in it. Everything else is looking great. Wait, you drink that a little too fast? Drink that a little too fast?
I can break it apart with my hands, right?
Yeah, yeah. I would actually suggest using your teeth. Yeah, make sure you have your Invisaligns in, because they'll protect you from the heat. So, wow, we got 10 people watching now. You guys are like internet famous. Yeah, internet famous. So Jeff, have you been doing a lot of forging? See, this is the only problem with live streaming is there's a lag between going from here to the server, and then it goes out to 2 other servers, and then it comes back because I'm streaming to 2 places at once. So, yeah, multi-streaming, multi-stream.
They make some tips to come to me, and I get like $500. I put my dick in it.
No, no. My insurance policy does not cover that. I've never asked. Oh, okay. No. Well, it's small enough. It's a hard target. Yeah, you can see where that definite separation is. So, separation, yeah. So it makes more sense for us to clean the inside paper on the grinder and then repack it and do that again. Yeah. Because otherwise we're chasing a problem that's never going to be. But we're at a state. What's that? No, actually I did that while you were here. Yeah. So it's okay. Oh no, you have us on your TV?
Yeah. A smart TV. She's playing it through YouTube.
Ooh.
Welcome to 20th century.
I got my parents a Fire Stick for Christmas, so
Okay.
that means they can rent movies on my Amazon account. And
Because it charges to you.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Where's this $150?
Yes. Who's getting bored?
Right. What is this charge for? What is this charge for xhamster.com? I don't understand. Asher? Yeah.
What's going to happen to that hamster? Oh my god.
Oh no! Believe it or not, that is a legitimate porn site. Not to give them free advertising, but if they want to sponsor our channel, I guess that's okay. I will take. I'll take porn money if I don't have to get naked.
Every $25 I keep an article.
Right? Yes. That's right.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah. What's the other?
Only me.
OnlyFans. I need to create an OnlyFans account, and they pay me to keep my clothes on in the pool.
That's what I've been saying.
Right. That would be perfect. But you know what?
Nobody pays me.
No, there's gonna be somebody out there that likes this stubby ass. And they're gonna be like, I'm not paying you. Take it up. Take it all up. Nobody pay him.
Well, if you want, you can break it apart.
It's a sight to watch hamsters running their little wheels, of course. Oh, okay. Asher ordering. What is Brazzer? Like, hold on now, Andy. I am going to have your son explain to me what is Brazzer.
He looked like he knew.
What is it? You probably do.
It's another porn site.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's a.
I refuse to pay.
I just make my own. I refuse to pay as well. Just make your own. I'm very Amish that way. You know, I'd rather make my own porn.
But they don't do.
I know more Amish with iPhones and iPads than. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The whole thing.
I'm not saying that there is Amish porn out there.
Oh God.
No, like literally everything I've researched, it doesn't actually exist. Those girls are lying. They're not really Amish.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
I've done that. It was part of my doctorate thesis. Yeah.
Okay, so how am I splitting this?
It's still really hot.
What do you mean right now? I'm just saying, how am I splitting?
Or just over there. Like literally. Yeah. Actually. All right, guys. So what I want you to do is grab your marker wherever you guys put the marker, and I want you to come up with an outline. Figure out what your knife is going to look like. So, like right here. Yeah. And all of a sudden that brings that back up. You got a nice flat spine. The only part right here I would address just to keep that flat. Yeah. Right here, you can actually curl it. But it's not much you need to remove. That gives you total perfect right from. And I think they have some already got a couple. There are birds that apparently can open the louvers of the fan. Yes, because I catch them in the shop, and I have no idea how they get in here. It's this little tiny, like a wren or something. And yeah, I've been catching the damn thing in the shop like all the time. It's actually kind of amazing. Have at it. Oh, Twitch is buffering. How come none of us are wearing masks? Because we're not sitting here on top of each other the whole time, and when sanding, it actually works. Jeff, Twitch is not working correctly? It's just buffering, huh? That's weird. I don't understand why it's buffering. But YouTube's working fine. See? Was that just me, or did the whole thing literally just flash? Oh, RS. That was your dad. It's with your mom. RS. Okay. That was him. Gross. Yeah. It's almost down to temperature. Now, if this totally fails, I have another solution. I have some 01 round stock. And we can literally clean up the outside and wrap the outside with 01. That's actually very Viking. That's how, so when you see that twist pattern in the center of a sword, and then it's mono steel on the outside. So, yeah. No, that's cool, but it's a pain in the ass. Like, only because I hate forging the 01. I have it as, now YouTube went down. Huh. I don't know. This is why you don't watch porn and YouTube at the same time on the same internet connection. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Yeah, no one's ever done that in the history of the internet. Aiden, be careful. Well, what I'm seeing here. So instead of coming in that way,
Do the opposite.
do the opposite. Notice how much more control there is there,
Yeah,
and this will leave you more blade.
that works.
Yeah. So I don't mind the longer handle on that. Again, product redesign. What's that? Oh, we have plenty of things to split it with. But most of the chisels here are in the form of what you call a flathead screwdriver. Yeah. Because really, I don't use flathead screwdrivers for anything. Except, so, my ex-wife has a horse farm. And, she just asked if I could do some projects for her, some building during the week. I'm like, yeah, that's not a problem. And literally, I was fixing a stall door, and I had to chisel a little notch out of it, and I didn't have a chisel with me. So what do I use? A flathead screwdriver, because that's what they're for. Just tap it. Yep. There you go. Like literally, you can probably pry it. If you can just grab a hold of it with both hands. No, just grab it with both hands and pull it apart. Yeah, just don't be a pussy. Just grab this end and grab that end. I don't know. It's only like 400 degrees. You know what that is in centigrade? No. Maybe like 190? I don't know. The math is really weird. We don't speak centigrade here. That's fine. Matt, just leave it alone until it's cool. You can't sand it. You can't sand it until it's cold. Okay. No, that's looking really good. I like the profile. I might take this and like just curve this a little bit, just because if it digs into the palm of your hand, I think that would be a little bit more comfortable. But that's totally up to you. I'm just telling you what I would do. That is not what you have to do. Ah, you have a woman's hand. I'm kidding. AD, small little hands. We should get you doing electronics. Tiny hands like that, you'd be great at soldering like transistors and resistors and yeah. That's what you are doing in school? That's cool because I have a couple of projects that involve building Arduinos and yeah. My next thing that I really want to do. See, 204. I said 193, so I was close. One of the things I want to build in here is a tracking camera. Wouldn't that be a cool, fun project? Something that tracks and autofocuses and zooms where I walk around. Wow. I don't think we're supposed to allow X's on the same Twitch channel. Kids, fight nicely. This is not like high school. Or after high school. God, remember back in high school, Andy? Remember the time that you got the cops called on you at your house? Aiden never hear that story? Okay. We won't tell that story.
Too late, you started.
Nope. Nope. No. No. There are just certain things that we don't talk about.
Nice cover. Or nice save.
Yeah. Yeah, not always a bad thing. Right. Actually, that is what she said. Just saying, that's Jess. Okay, so you got that done. What I want you to do is I want you to... Our bevels are kind of the least important. Those bevels are going to, because you drew them down enough, they're going to come in really good. So I don't want you to overemphasize that because I think we can actually blind too much of the away. So in order to err on the side of caution, really what I want you guys to do is the simplest method. Right here. I'm just holding it with these two fingers. Okay? And then I take this finger as support. And I'm just kind of cleaning it up right now. That's all I want to do is just both sides. We know that they're nice and consistent. They might have a little bit of a bend. We'll see where we have to address that. But really what I'm trying to do is get a clean surface so we can drill the holes through there. Andy, not on a live stream. There are just certain matters that should stay private amongst family. And I feel as though this is almost a nephew of mine that I've never met, because you are a brother from another mother. So afterwards, maybe I will indulge him. But he's got to bribe me first. Like, he's got to sweep the shop or something cool. You know, that's how you get cool stories about your dad, Aiden. Yeah, sweep up the shop. I've got some firewood that needs cutting. Lot of apprentice work that needs to be done around here. So, if you think about it, this is not like when you did knives. We're like 4 times as thick as those pieces. So there's an awful lot more mass there. So it's going to hold that heat, 3-4 times as long. Yeah, I'll tell him after. Of course I will. This is where Matt and I get to sit back and relax. Not really. He's got a little bit of work. Most of your forging though tomorrow. If we can get, I'm okay with just getting the billet, where it needs to be and kind of drawn out. If you want to do your forging tomorrow, we're going to talk. We'll talk after the stream a little bit about what we want to do for the overall piece. Because at that point we'll know what material we have to work with. So from there we can say, okay, we've got a piece that's this big, and we can make it into this. We'll also discuss what we're going to do as far as handles go. How much work you want to do. Because I can make you get real anal retentive with that scroll saw over there. We can do some, really cool stuff. Like piecing together pieces, dark wood with light wood, and do some fancier, because of all that heat treating, If we're doing 2 hours of cool woodwork, that's man, I've got a fillet knife that I'll see if I can dig it out. It's in I don't remember which drawer it's in, but I basically did a inlay style handle with wood and fiber paper, and it was pretty cool. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating because what you have to clamp together, is it set? Is it doing this? and then like gluing the two pieces together with a piece of paper in between, sanding them to get everything equal, then wetting it so the paper dissolves, and then you break it apart. You know, like yeah. Now, what I'd like to see, I don't even know what time are we at. It's only 3:55. So I think if we go till, even if these guys are done a little earlier, if we go until say 5:15, I think what we'll do is we'll be able to get this billet exactly where we want it. Then we'll have to dig out some cool woods. I've got a whole bin in the back room of stabilized woods that we'll be going through. Don't tell them what these things are. First time students don't normally get a choice of, stuff like that. But you've been here for, 4 classes now? See, I'm letting the cat out of the bag. You guys can hear this; they can't. So they're working nice and hard. But Matt's been here for a lot of different classes. So now it's more like challenging them to do some fun stuff. What's that? Yeah. What do you mean? Oh yeah, that's an afterthought. We could have done that at lunchtime, like we should probably. But I want to dye it. I want to actually do that with black dye. So what we should do is mix that up, and I don't think we're going to need that vise for a while, because it might, how it's 5-minute epoxy when we add dye to it. Yeah, like 2 hours. Yeah. So, yeah, that dye really changes how that affects that chemical bond or the chemical reaction. Are you guys done yet? I mean, seriously. Come on, slackers. Let's get some holes being drilled in those handles. It's already smooth. But feel the roughness here. Like this side's kind of cool. But that was that oxidation. You can actually physically feel that with your finger, that oxidation in there. And so there was no way that we were ever. It was nice to try. You never know, but still, yeah, there's no way that we were ever going to get that to set that well. Might have been. And actually, now that I think about it, I think that was the side that you had that gap on. Wow, YouTube is blowing up. Thank you guys for tuning in. You're kind of catching some of the boring stuff right now. It's a lot of Matt and I like standing around. We're waiting on Matt's piece to cool down. Our 2-day students are finishing up the pieces that they just forged and getting ready to drill holes in there for their handles. And I'm going to have you guys normalize tonight. So that also means, I don't know, should I make them? Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So you guys, once you get everything drilled, I'm going to say you're within the last 40 minutes of your class for today. Tomorrow it's, once everything is done. So, by the way, Jess, if you're listening, about 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so, because all that you're going to have to do is, I want you to do the normalization, And we'll do heat treating first thing in the morning. That what I like is how tight you got some of the twists in there. I think that's going to make for a really tight pattern. I really do. No, do not worry about that. The main thing is that scale can actually be very detrimental to the tip of our drill. It's so hard. It's a rough surface. It's essentially like a lot of carbon with some iron in it, and that oxide is just tough. So we just wanted to get it clean so we can drill through there. And then essentially what we're going to do is we're going to normalize these tonight, and that'll be the last thing that you do. Tomorrow we'll let you take a look at them, see if there's anything that needs to be adjusted, and clean up just a little bit of the front. Maybe emphasize those bevels just a hair, and then we're gonna harden those. Okay, so we're gonna heat them up again, quench. They're gonna go into the oven, and then during the 2.5 hours that they're in the oven, well, you've got blades from earlier today that you need to polish up, and so you'll get through that in 35, 45 minutes, and then turn to hand sanding. And that's where you start getting a little bit more OCD about everything. Yep. Draw your handle on there. Figure out where your holes are going to go. I was just going to kick them out. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, I'm not Davis. I don't have to wash my hair before I leave the house. Actually, though, I can't say that because Davis actually stopped by this past week and had a beer with me. And now he didn't tell me what time he was going to be out, but he's like, hey, I'm on my way. And he actually showed up in a reasonable amount of time. However, he was over at Larry's house. And Larry only lives like 10 minutes from me. So, now whether or not he showed up to Larry's on time, that's a totally different question. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of that curling back thing, but we'll discuss that stuff tomorrow. I guess I don't mind it. And that's totally fine. But really, it's just to give you a rough idea. Again, keeping in mind that the grain of the wood will change over time, or it has a tendency to split along that grain. So those environmental factors need to be taken into account. I would say an inch from either side, and we'll be good to go. Same thing. Second verse, same as the first. You did it not too long ago. Matt, if you can pull them apart, go ahead and you can dip it in water. Come on. Oh, are you serious? We really need to get Matt working in the shop. Like he's been here like 5 times now. 4 times. Sorry. 4 times that you've been here. Your hands aren't tougher yet. You're a big burly guy too. You can just be like, I don't feel temperature. Maybe normal mortal men do. I don't like sandboxes. Yeah, I have an unusual aversion to sandboxes. Now, this one right here, because your wood's going to terminate here. Yeah. So put it right there. Yeah. That's probably true. I don't know how, because if he was speeding, he'd be here in 7 minutes. So, you know. Put it back where you found it. Okay, I will put it back where it belongs. Which is actually not where it belongs. And if Nate is watching, which I don't know if he is or not, but if Nate's watching, then he'll tell me exactly where it belongs and that I'm not putting it in the right place. Oh, look at all that crap. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if we can get some of that down. No, because I'd rather not have an air pocket there, if that makes sense. Wait, we should change that camera. Like, the camera is sitting here on the hammer, but it's attached to the drill. Like, yeah, it doesn't catch you at all. It's weird. But I do like it right on the power hammer. I think it's a cool shot. There is a camera that I'm looking at right now that I can put up in the corner here, and it will follow me around, and it has an AI where it will zoom in on things that it thinks are interesting. It's called the ObSpot tail. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't use Facebook. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but they're like $2,500. No, this one's like $600. But we could build one. Oh, that's the machinist, and he's used all that stuff in there. Okay. But yeah, we could build the camera, I think, actually a lot cheaper. And there's DSLR rigs out there, but I would rather just use a regular camera sensor with a built-in zoom, which $40 you can, build that. And then it's just the tracking software, which is all free and open source. So, I don't know. It'd just be kind of cool. We were talking about putting a rail system in, so that the camera could go this way and this way across the shop and literally follow. Now, I do have a camera that is not set up right now. That I kind of want to put this in the ceiling. This captures 360 degrees. Yeah. You don't have to. Just put it right in the center of the room. And I've used it already in here on a tripod, and it works pretty cool. Oh, nice. Now you're on Twitch chat. Is that working? I don't know. Which works better for you guys, Twitch or YouTube? As I said earlier on in the stream, eventually we're going to have to ditch YouTube as far as live streams go, but that's just an affiliate thing. We'll still be posting them to YouTube just a day after the fact. Yeah. You can touch it up a little bit. Right now we're thin enough that I don't want you to take too much material away. But if it would make you happy to see it a little cleaner for right now, otherwise, you get through? Cool. Nobody broke a drill bit today. That's pretty awesome. I'm proud of you guys. I really am. I had a class 2 weeks ago that did nothing but break drills. Like snap, 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 snap. to the point that it became the joke that we only got one left. Like, I already bought 4. You know. It's, what happens is people don't pay attention to signs, and when it binds just a little bit, because it's getting dull, and you saw, I took that and sharpened it before we started class today, and it's totally fine. But it's also about consistent speeds. If you stop in the middle, that's a bad thing. Keep it moving the whole time. Now, I guess I should refire this forge. Go. So again, same thing that we're doing, or what we're doing again is we're gonna put the little piece of aluminum down here, heat it up, watch where it comes to temperature. When it comes to temperature, a good rule of thumb is you remember that bright orange, all yellow color. Once it hits that color, look at your watch. Give it 3 minutes. Pull it out. Rest it. That's what we're trying to do. Yep, exactly. When it goes visually dark, I would say give it 45 seconds, give it a minute. You know, you can't go wrong by letting it go longer. But, you know, give it that minute, because again, like I said earlier today, 930 degrees is when steel becomes incandescent. So, you know, you want to make sure that it drops. What we're really looking for is about under 700 degrees, and then back in. At least with this particular steel. Not all steels get normalized. So. Andy, I would never charge you for a drill. Just saying, if you like the knives that your child makes, send a good bottle of that Nevada tequila out this way. You know, something that we can't get here in PA. None of that Cabo Wabo crap, you know. Or the big one is or was pre-pandemic was the espresso by Patron. It's like a coffee flavored tequila. Because being drunk and hyped up on caffeine, that just sounds horrible. Combining tequila and vodka? Yeah. Like, I don't think Russia would ever invade Mexico. And I don't think Mexico would ever invade Russia. Like, yeah. It's just sounds wrong. Sounds wrong. So I'm pretty sure wars are only started because of alcohol. I mean, let's look at the Revolutionary War, the Whiskey Rebellion. Where was the Rum Rebellion? That was is that Australia? Yeah. Australia, Captain Bligh, the HMS Downey, I think that had something to do with the Rum Rebellion. So that would be Australia, New Zealand, that area. Yeah. Lots and lots of rebellions, you know. All because of alcohol. Okay. No, that looks good. That looks good. That's you every other Friday night. What, combining tequila and vodka? What's that? Yeah, the gin triple sec and rum. Vodka, gin, rum, triple sec tequila. Sours mix and a splash of Coke. That's a Long Island iced tea. What? No, it's a splash of Coke. The Coke's only in there for color. It's not there for any other thing. It's to make it look like tea. In my 10 years as a bartender, we never once put tea in a Long Island iced tea. That's not a Long Island iced tea. I have no idea. Death Wish. What is Death Wish coffee? Is that like super caffeinated coffee? Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. That's hot enough. Go ahead. Let's start your normalization cycle. Yeah. Get a nice coating of flux on there. Now, do you want to weld this one? Okay. It's 2 little spots. That's all you have to do. Either end. Now you gotta run to the spirit store? What, for some Death Wish coffee and margarita mix? Really? I remember one time I caught my mom drinking margaritas and playing dominoes with her friend. Like, that's the first time I ever saw my mom drink recreationally. The time before that, I think I saw her have a glass of champagne at her wedding. Yeah, prior to that, I never saw my mom touch a drop of alcohol for 19 years. So, yeah, I was 19 years old before I ever saw my mom touch a drop of alcohol. Which, you know what? Being my mother, I would not blame her if she was secretly in the basement, drinking herself, until her liver, wanted to give up. Yeah. Which way did it come from? Yeah. No. Yes. It's just fugly, dude.
Yeah,
Actually, I want you to weld it like that. It's going to give us the most amount of surface area contact. So. Yep. So, start a timer. Yeah. You don't want it to go, yeah, my mom is so gangster. You don't mess with my mom. Or are you talking about Matt's mom? Because my mom's really not gangster. I've barely ever seen her flashing gang signs. I'd have to look at it. But. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Switch the power. See, this is really what I'm doing. Is I'm having you unplug the. Yeah, see, I'm sick and tired of bending over. So, call it indentured servitude. Thank you very much. This is like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like. You just can't ever leave. No, like Mom knows how to play dominoes. I have no idea how to play dominoes. But yeah, I walked into her house and she's like laughing and practically falling off the kitchen table, playing dominoes with her friend. Well, it was my stepfather's secretary and her were sitting there drinking margaritas, playing dominoes, and my stepfather and his secretary's husband, they don't drink. So, like, my stepdad might have a glass of wine every once in a while. Turning it on does help. So, yeah, I walked into something really weird. Now Mom will have a glass of wine with stuff, but, you know. Hold it for, up, it's stuck. There you go. It's a feeling. I told you that yesterday. Like, this welder is very, very, it's very, very touchy. But I figured it's just 2 welds. Don't look at the bright light. Resist all urge. So let me just take a look. A little light. I don't know if you know this or not, but it's all about the penetration.
Well, I mean,
Welding. It's all about the penetration. By the way, that shirt is actually going to be up on our merch store. If you haven't checked it out, streamlabs.com/Underhill Forge. Click on merch. There's t-shirts available. That's our new t-shirt coming out next week. It'll be available for limited time. But yes. Forge welding. It's all about the penetration. Why not? I have t-shirts that say get it hot and bag it, so. I do. What's that? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, our previous company apparently shut down. So people were ordering stuff through the website, which is supposed to automatically kick, and yeah. And essentially what it would do is it would automatically send the order in, but during the whole pandemic thing, because they were a small mom and pop company, which is why here in the United States, that's why I went with them. And they didn't survive. But no emails or anything like that to let us know, so yeah, I think you guys can go back in. Gee, Matt, we've never heard that joke before. By the way, if you can only imagine, we've been here since 9 o'clock. It's going on 4:30 right now. So the jokes get bad towards the end of the day. Yeah, probably. No, everybody's been working very hard. The only saint among us is actually Saint Aiden here, who's not actually saying anything because both of his parents are watching. Oh, and he's 16, because that means that he's an angel. Are you... Yeah, I had no idea. And he still didn't explain it, so I'm gonna have to Google it later. Like, what's that? I mean, again, I still think that, and actually someone mentioned this the other week. They said that I should do a, no. But no, they were saying that we should do, what's an OnlyFans account. Because there are people that do OnlyFans that are not doing porn. And they're like, you should do that for, like, things like, hey, today I'm going to walk you through all the steps for this. And I'm like, that's kind of why I have a Patreon. So what made me start doing classes? I'm such a people person. Now, I think what made me start doing classes is the fact that nobody else was when I started. There was literally nobody teaching, not teaching knife making, and so I don't know. I started. Now I guess there's a few other people doing it, but it's really about like delivering the quality. That's the biggest thing. Is I know there's a few other people doing it, but I don't think you can learn really well if it's like 8 people or 13 people in a class. So I don't know. I like the idea of small classes, a one-on-one communication, and being able to ask any question that you want. I don't know. I went to a private school, so that was, I had just, I saw that, Andy. But I went to a private school, so it was, really just, I had 12 people in my class. And so 12 students for one teacher, I think we had a better education than, say, 60 kids in a class with one teacher. So, I don't know. I just like that being able to interact a little bit better. And as I said, nobody else was doing it at the time, so I decided to fill in that gap. Now, fill in, it's like 7-8 years later. Project here, me and Tim. Yeah. Okay. That's Tim's department. Tim is my buddy that does the digital ranges. I don't know. Do you want to? I'm okay to pull a chair over here and finish my beer. I think you guys can share. So here, let's be cool about this. Why is that not changing? What the heck? Let's reload the app. There we go. She was laughing that Andy would watch my OnlyFans if I did it on acid. Andy, we've had those conversations before. Just saying. But your child is in my class right now, so I don't know that I should be talking about things that we never did. Go, 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 go! Lightly, lightly, lightly. I don't think you were at temperature. Rush it, flux it, do it again. There's probably no flux in there, is there? Shit. We can do a dry well. You gotta let it go. Let it go for a little bit. Yeah, that's flux.
Just squeeze it down on the.
It opened back up. You didn't let it go long enough.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was waiting for you to ask me when to go. You just said, should I do it? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I didn't know that you meant, should I do it now? Turn off the press. You got nothing to hide.
Well, that's kind of like, not what we put online.
I have never done any drug that I've known to be illicit. Yeah, Andy, what's your kid doing coming to class with a bottle of vodka? I mean, he's 16. That's a hardcore problem right there. Yeah, I didn't start drinking until I was 17. My God. Move it. Yeah. How thick it is? I still would have let it soak for five minutes or so to start. That was a pretty thick piece. He's my kid. What can I say? If you guys want to see it, no. That's all right. Andy's used to that. Andy's actually part of our D&D group on Fridays, and so he live streams with us on Twitch at Tabletops and Anvils. So if you guys want to see Andy drink a bottle of tequila in an evening, all you have to do is tune in this Friday night on Tabletops and Anvils on Twitch. There you go. We'll get some really cool merch up there too. All right. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. What? No, I'm manually working. Manual labor. It's just something I try to avoid. But I'm going to do this by hand. Because I wanted to bring that together. Now I'm going to run and grab that box of Plus. Well, okay, I'm not going to run so much as like soccer. I mean, yeah, you know. Meander, yeah. Right, you know. I'll be right back, guys. Behold, I am returning. What's that? That is 15 and 20. Oh, yeah. What's that? There's no Miles stealing the show. I mean, there is, but not like, not in mass quantities, not in pieces that you'd recognize as such. Does anyone have a knife? No, that's actually a joke amongst me and my friends. No, my friends are always like, if you need a knife, don't ask Jay. Because I make knives for a living. And I never have one on me. Ever. Now, do I have one in my car? Not a problem. Probably have 10. You know. The problem is that we're out hunting or something, and I'm like, I lost a Damascus knife. Oh my God, all that cocaine all over the place. Shows you who's out of touch with the reality. That is not $100. Yeah. Actually, borax does work really nice for cleaning the floor. It's $5 a box. I don't mind spilling it all over the place. So, brush it, flux it. So those are out for the third time? Awesome. You guys are done. Very relaxed. Like I said, tomorrow, the very first thing, you'll be able to pick them up. You'll be able to hold them with your hand, kind of look at them, see, okay, maybe it needs to be adjusted a little bit over here or there. And we can do that stuff. And I just want to get them clenched and in the oven. Your other pieces are probably floating around. Thank you. Your other pieces are probably sitting at they're at 300 degrees right now. So they're cooling down. This is shut off. I have a whole program set up for this. I would put a camera in this section, but this is my sturdy section. Yeah. So those knives are ready to be sanded and cleaned up. So essentially, that gives you a nice built-in buffer that we know we have. 2 hours is what I'd like them to go. That gives me 2 different temperatures to fully cycle through. Just like his knife tomorrow, same thing. 2 hours is all we really need in the tempering oven. So it's going to be pretty quick. But he's going to have plenty of stuff to do with the handle. Like I want to challenge Matt a little bit more than you guys. Like, this is your first foray. I want him to do something that's like, yeah, right. Matt's complaining that I did too much work for these guys today. Because his first class, apparently, I was in a bad mood, and I made them cut their own steel. Did I really? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No, but that's math, dude. Like, and the reason I did that is because we had a younger kid who was like high school age, and I'm like, okay, the diameter of your handle is 1 1/4 inches. What is the circumference? Like, you should be doing this stuff in math every day. Come on, Aiden. 1 1/4 inches. You can't just pull up your calculator and do the math? You don't know the formula? 1.25 times 3.14. Yes, remember pi? It's not just a date and March. Like, yeah. Yes. It's all the above. But pumpkin pie is always the best. Okay. So you brushed it, you plucked it. Yeah. No, I don't want you to break that apart. I don't want you to, like, we're going up one end. This is delicate, dude. Yeah. Yep. No, this is a delicate operation. So really just gently set it. Andy, we are not doing a ball gag for tabletops and anvils. Turn it around, brush it, flux it, do the other end. Yeah, that hurts, don't it? So, Aiden, have you learned anything today? I mean, not just about your dad. You're looking pretty cool in my personal safety glasses, I gotta say. Got the nice tinted shades going on. All right, give them back, kid. You can't look that cool for that long. I mean, you know. Tomorrow I'm gonna give you a pair of the big thick ones. Yeah. You'll look like Edna Mole from The Incredibles. Yeah. See, look, I had a hip reference. I'm down with the younger generation. The Incredibles. That was a movie, right? Animation.
Yeah, the second one just came out. The first one came out possibly for at least before like super time. Because I waited a long time for them to check.
Andy says you need a pick with the forge for the gram. I don't know. He said, if you didn't, I don't know if you got. Yeah, now he's gonna yell at you. Get off your fucking phone. That's how that works. So, do the whole selfie thing. Isn't that supposed to be the famous last moment before he fell into the forge? You know. Right. You can go a little bit more. What's that? How curved is it? I want you to do the other side, and then I want you to flatten it. So press it a little bit heavier than what you did on the last one, but don't go full tilt on it. If that makes sense. Did you get here? Go stand over there.
Alright, yeah, Matt, here. We're doing the
You know what? Okay. Grab the hammer and the tongs. I don't care. Grab the big hammer. It makes you look tough. Hold this in the tongues. That's fine. You're good.
Oh, there you go.
Grab that. Okay. Here we go, Andy. This is how we make your kid look cool. No. Dude, this is not a Marvel movie, alright? So, what I want you to do, right here, we're going to make it seem like you know what you're doing. How do I unlock this thing? Why did it turn off on me in the first place? Okay, so, grab the hammer, right there. Okay. Look serious.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, that's pretty good, right? Yeah. You can rotate that as you need it. So, there you go, Dad. We got one for the gram. The sweat was real. It's so nice to be able to have this kind of interaction with people. Have everybody helping out. Now you got to apply some really cool filter to that, you know, like. Hey, I think you might actually have a solid piece. Really, you think that's going to help? Blowing on it?
No, I wanted to get it off of me.
You know what blowing on an ember does, right?
Yeah.
It makes it spark to life. So, look at this though. Notice how we have a nice, even gradient. So what we're looking at is how it's cooling down, and it's still a little questionable, but only because I know that this is higher in elevation than those other three pieces. That's why it's not bothering me too much. Get it back in there. Flux it. Get it back in.
And then, in there,
Yeah. Get it nice and hot.
You're doing the what when you're using the word load?
Uh-huh. For this particular style, I actually end up, I tend to roll it a little bit. Like, I like using a rolling mill for that. However, once you have a nice solid weld, you can do whatever you want, really. Like, I have particular things that I like to do because I know that it works for me, and you kind of fall into habits. But I'm not saying there's one set prescription, like, this is the only way you can do it. We've had really nice, steady views from both Twitch and YouTube. As God, you realize we've been doing this now for over an hour. Yes, we started at 1 o'clock. Yeah. You didn't know that you were being recorded the whole time? Shit, I'm sorry, guys. Scratch that, reverse it. Matt didn't mean any of it. Yeah, we started